My name is Xaph, and hello, welcome to the second video on r/demcon. Today we will be basically explaining what democratic confederalism is, as the audiobook by Abdullah Öcalan already explained, but today I will be explaining it in a shorter and more compact fashion, so you can get a general sense of what it is. So basically, the first thing I immediately noticed reading about democratic confederalism is the rejection of capitalism, state socialism, and the nation state. Okay, let's start with capitalism. The view of capitalism from the democratic confederalist lens is that capitalism needs to be destroyed in order for the nation state to be destroyed, because they are both intertwined. In the Industrial Revolution, when the nation state first appeared, capitalism also appeared, basically making it ingrained into the structure of the nation state. And so from there, the bourgeoisie rose from this revolution and wanted to take part in the political decisions and state structures. Capitalism was their new economic system, thus became an inherent component of the new nation state. And so the nation state needed the power of capital in order to replace the old order and its ideology, which rested on tribal structures and inherited rights, which with a new and vague national identity that united all tribes and clans under a piece of land in the roof of a nation, basically. And in this way, capitalism and the nation state became so closely linked to each other that they could neither could exist without the other, because of the way both systems were structured. As a consequence of this, exploitation was not only sponsored by the state, but even encouraged. And so the reason for this is because the state's existence is independent of all political institutions, but it needs additional institutions of its own to protect its ideological basis, as well as legal, economic, and religious structures. Bureaucracy is expensive and only exists to ensure the continued existence of the state. Bureaucracy and nation states cannot exist without each other. If the nation state is the backbone of capitalist modernity, it is the cage of the natural society. Its bureaucracy secures the function of the system, secures the basis of the production of the commodities, and secures the profit for the relative actors of both the quote-unquote socialist and business-friendly nation state. Capitalist modernity is a perversion of the community. Capitalism modernity is also intertwined with the nation state. So in order to get rid of one, you need to get rid of the other. And so the nation states and the capitalist system became intertwined. So this also links into state socialism and Öcalan's criticism of systems like Marxism, Leninism, and all other state socialist structures. They rely on the nation state, but the nation state is a capitalistic invention. So this basically creates a system of economy in socialist societies, quote-unquote socialist, to where you see all profit going to the state, and the state decides what to do with that profit. You can argue that this is good, but it would still constitute a capitalistic mode of profit, which is bad, by the way. Democratic confederalism also has a interesting lens when it comes to viewing religious structures. It has a fascinating critique on secular society, which I will read to you now. So basically, religion has created the first identities in society, right? They pretty much formed the philosophical and ideological glue for many tribes and pre-state communities that have existed before capitalist and modernity in general. So we see right away that religion is ingrained into humanity and into the human experience, as well into human culture. So basically what we see here is, why has that gone away if the state is supposed to be this entity that promotes the culture, the homogeneity, and yada yada? Well, we see it because society has never been secular, right? religious components of society have never been secular, and I will explain why. We know that today most modern states call themselves secular, claiming that like old bonds between the religion and state have been severed, and that religion is no longer a part of the state and it doesn't need to be. But secularism still contains religious elements. For example, the separation of state and religion is the result of a political decision. It didn't like come naturally, right? This is why even today, power and state seem to be something given, like God-given, if you will. Notions like secular state or secular power still remain ambiguous. I will explain why, because if you look at the ideological foundations of the nation state, we look at nationalism, right? Let's say the nation and the nation state is God/religion, and nationalism is prayer / worship, because we already view the state to be something God-given and something that has to be, and this is the way things have to be, right? So since the nation state and capitalism are intertwined and dependent on each other, nationalism is an asset of the bourgeoisie. Religion is an asset of the bourgeoisie. In this context, basically, capitalist profit and the accumulation of capital appear as categories shrouded in misery. Religion has always been something that has been used to keep the people's minds off of one thing or another that's happening, right? Nationalism appears as a quasi-religious justification, its true mission. However, its service to be virtually divine nation state, and its ideological vision which pervades all areas of society, arts, science, and social awareness. None of them are independent. True intellectual enlightenment, however, needs a fundamental analysis of these elements of modernity, right? In order to progress, you need a developed analysis of modernity. If the nation state is treated as a sort of religious structure, right, something God-given, then even we can't successfully criticize modernity, and that's something that ultimately needs to be done in order to progress society. For example, so let's say if you are like a Muslim, for example, you don't question things about Muhammad or what happened in Sodom or what happened here or there, because they are fundamental values of your worldview and the worldview that the systems you subscribe to facilitate, right? That is basically a way of not progressing past some philosophical thought and not criticizing modernity, and that's why some Muslim countries philosophically have been stuck in the same era for so long. And even if it acts like a secular state, the nation state does not shy away from using a range of nationalism and religious for its purposes. The reason is simple, because religion still plays an important part in some societies or parts of those societies. In particular, Islam is very agile in this respect, as I mentioned. The age of modernity no longer plays its traditional role, right? Whether it's a radical or moderate belief, religion in the nation state no longer has a mission in society, to be fair, but it can only do what it is permitted by the nation state, right? So these things, after secularism was established, these things did not come separate from each other. They became one, right? For example, if you lived in, like, let's say a Catholic theocracy before the establishment of the nation state, so the religion and the states would be one and the same, right? So this hasn't really changed in secular society. We have just replaced it with nationalism, a different religion. Nothing has changed. So basically, we can look at all nation states as theocracies, even if the modern theocracy worships a different type of god than the state, rather than like the Catholic god, like Jesus, or like, I don't know. So we have gone over three things. I think four things actually. We have gone over the nation state, we have gone over capitalism, state socialism, and religion. This is basically the all you need to know when getting yourself introduced to Abdullah Öcalan thought and democratic confederalism. I am now signing off. Goodbye.